Israel Osanmoh, a master's student in international business, did a study on how African migrants fare in the Tasmanian labour market. He believes employment is the biggest issue for local migrants.
So many valuable talents and knowledge that many of these African migrants come over here into Australia have been wasted, because most of them have been forced to downgrade their level of skills just to do menial jobs. And while others who are well educated find themselves in kind of jobs that is not really their best of interest. This is causing a lot of discouragement at workplace. It's also causing a lot of people to be depressed and discouraged to even not search for job. We have those who were educated teachers at school before, who are now doing community service. We have others who are learned accountants, now doing taxi driving jobs. We have others who were real qualified doctors, finding it hard to get the right job that they really deserve so that they can contribute their best to the community. This is causing a lot of exodus, mass exodus. Since I came to Tasmania, more than 10 families I'm very, very close to have already moved to different parts of Australia. As I'm talking to you now, we still have on a waiting list about 2 or 3 families living in our community alone. And these are family men that have become like pillars of the community, helping our youths in kind of issues that faces them at school, and so on and so forth. So the mass exodus in itself is causing a lot of financial loss, both to those who are going and even the government. This must stop. There must be a way that the government can address the issue of resettling those who are really resettled to stay where they are and get the right job to do. We have families going to Melbourne. We have families going to Queensland. You know, when we are being, when we are being called upon in the refugee camp to come into a resettlement program, the agency responsible for the whole process is UNHCR, and their major task is to assess those who are eligible for resettlement to a third country. And when they do this assessment, we are not being consulted to decide where we go. So they at randomly select people to go to different parts of the country where they have to be resettled. So this has, in a way, created a form of link of any refugee in any part of Australia to have got somebody else living somewhere else in part of Australia. And so like me, I have a friend in Queensland. So every time we call on the phone and say, hey, what are you doing, Kwame? He said, oh, there's a lot of job to do here. What are you doing there? Come over here. I said, but here too is good. Then what are you doing? Our land, Tasmania don't have jobs. So there's a lot of communication going on within the community that is diverse in all part of Australia. And so this is one of the factors that is what I can call creating the mass movement of people. Because when you have somebody you have always lived with in the refugee camp telling you he's just buying his first house, and you are still struggling here looking for a job, you will be forced to move because you need also to settle down and live a life. I know an Ethiopian family that has to move after living here for 3 years. They cannot even get a common factory job, and the man have to move because it has become too bad. So I will strongly appeal that the mass movement of the community members to the mainland and every other community should be looked into in a very serious way. I'll seek solutions to see how we can curtail this mass movement, because a lot of us love to live in this island. It's a wonderful place, it's a peaceful place, not too large, just like our African community. And so living here to exposing ourselves to a bigger city in itself is stressful and does not go well with the way we are having our cultural background. So it's something that must be looked into.
Israel believes some of the practices of job networks need to be reviewed.
The problem here is that many things that are done here in terms of going hunting for job and securing a job are kind of institutionalized. It has been there for a long time. There's a need for a review of the system. There's a need for continuous assessment of the system. For example, a new entrant must go through job network to get job, but these job networks also use interpretation services to be able to interpret the language, English to another language. And yet they are very much aware that no employee will employ them without having English skills. So what is the essence of using a job network when the person will not get a job because he doesn't speak English? Why don't we just adopt simple methods that is even being used in different parts of Africa, where volunteer workers come into the country and they are given intensive training for 3 months and sent straight to the job, and they learn the language on the job. Africans are resilient. They can do the same. Give them intensive 3 months training on English course and put them to do volunteer jobs right on the jobs, and they will be able to learn English as long as they do the job. They learn English at the same time. Not just English, the Australian English. And this will be the best way to cut down on the resources being wasted today on certain kind of program that is going on English training program, where somebody will be there for 6 years and is still not qualified. Whenever we are coming to Australia, we have a high hope. Our friends in the refugee camp says, oh, you're going to Australia, wonderful land, you're going to succeed. But getting here, our aims, our dreams, and our aspirations are all empty because we don't get a job. Especially in Tasmania, where the labor market is very tight. This is giving a lot of us disillusioned. We go to school, we have our master's degrees, bachelor's degrees, but we are not even considered for a first chance interview. We feel that it's a hope lost after the government of Australia has spent so much resources to bring refugee migrant into Australia, and at the end of the day we are not able to contribute gainfully into the community that have taken good care of us. It is painful to some of us who want to do our best to improve the system in Australia, not given the chance. It is really painful, and it costs a lot of us our self-esteem, our dignity, and our respect.